Undertale is a difficult game for me to talk about. I've had a bit of a rocky history with it. I started out loving it, transitioned to hating it a few years later, but now I respect it, even though there are certain aspects of it that frustrate me. For instance, I think a lot of things were done really, really well in it, and make it a very enjoyable game, but then there are other aspects that I think were done very poorly, which just makes it less enjoyable. We don't talk about the genocide run. One of the things that I personally don't like about it is how vague it can be about certain subjects. Now, I know that leaving things vague is a good thing sometimes, but there are a lot of things in Undertale that are just left pretty much empty. Just no explanation whatsoever. You know, why does Sans have these supernatural powers, but Papyrus doesn't? Why does Sans look so drastically different from Papyrus? Why doesn't his mouth move? I should stop before we delve into Sans as a human theories, because that's awful territory to go into. But there can be good aspects of this vagueness, because vague stories inspire fans to fill in the blanks. And there are a lot of Undertale fanworks. Without Undertale being so vague about things, we wouldn't get some amazing fanworks like Deeper Down, which explores the aftermath of the true pacifist ending, and I'm voicing it a dub of, so check it out. Or Handplates, which explores the mystery of Dr. W.D. Gaster and the origin of Sans and Papyrus before they got to Snowdin. But there is one subject that I haven't really seen explored often by the fandom, if at all. That topic is the mystery of Asgore. King Asgore has always intrigued me. The game builds up to the final confrontation with him over the course of the game. And you meet him and he doesn't really do much. I get that you have to fight with him, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, it's always kind of bothered me how little he contributes. His main spotlight is in the neutral ending. If anything, he's the best part of it. You get to have the climactic final battle with him, but no matter if you try to spare him or not, Flowey kills him, resulting in the duel against Omega Flowey. In the true pacifist run, it builds up to his battle, only for Toriel to give him a magic bitch slap at the last moment. After that, he doesn't really do that much. Flowey swoops in, takes the souls, becomes Asriel. You get the picture. In the genocide run, after Sans' boss fight, you kill Asgore with literally no fanfare, only for Flowey to finish him to show his loyalty to you. And then you kill him too. It's just kind of odd to me that Asgore is built up so much, only for him in every ending to basically be a prelude to whatever Flowey or Asriel is doing. However, there's something more to King Asgore that a lot of people either haven't noticed or have just straight up ignored. Asgore is aware of the resets, like Sans and Flowey. How do I know this? Well, there's two main pieces of evidence pointing towards this, but I'll start with the obvious. During the battle against Asgore in the neutral run, you have a few act options, but the most important is the option to talk to him. If you use this option after being killed once by Asgore, you will receive the following flavor text. You tell Asgore that he's killed you once before. He nods sadly. The text will change slightly depending on how many times you've died to him. He initially nods sadly, then he nods grievously, and then he nods pitifully. Now, something you may suspect is that instead of referring to Frisk specifically, it's referring to the other humans who have fallen and suffered the same fate. As in, you've killed me once before, as in you've killed another human once before. However, this is easily debunked by the fact that it can be repeated as many times as you like until you just tell Asgore that he's killed you too many times to count. If it was referring to the other fallen humans, why would he nod after 6? I get that some non-aware characters in the game may make a passing reference to experiencing deja vu if the player has reset, But Asgore seems a lot more blatant, implying that he remembers what happened, or is at the very least aware of the human's ability to reset. The other piece of evidence is the most memorable thing that Asgore does in-game. He destroys the mercy button, manipulating the game's HUD. Unlike other monsters who mainly mess with the human soul during battle, Asgore instead messes with something outside of the battle box, physically shattering a menu button. There's only 3 characters in Undertale who are seen doing similar things. Flowey uses the menu buttons in his Omega form during the Neutral Run final boss fight. Sans physically attacks the player with bones whilst they're using the menu in his Genocide Run boss fight. And lastly, the human physically moves the position of the battle box in the same fight in order to select the fight button. The only characters besides Asgore who do something like this are ones who are aware of the resets. These little instances are what led me to the conclusion that Asgore is aware of resets, and possibly even the fourth wall. But considering how little evidence or reference he makes to it compared to other characters like Sans or Flowey, perhaps his awareness is somewhat limited. Even so, there's still no answer to how or why he is aware. Perhaps Deltarune could delve into this more. In fact, Toby Fox himself had an interesting comment to make on the Ralsei t-shirt that can be found on Fangamer. Ralsei shirt. He's always getting mixed up with flowers, isn't he? That hasn't happened yet. Considering that Ralsei is an alternate version of Asriel, this comment makes me believe that Flowey, or an alternate version of him, could make an appearance in Deltarune, and perhaps it will have something to do with Asgore's flower shop, and the 7 flowers found in the back. It would keep the trend of Asgore's role being a prelude to Flowey's, as it is in each of the Undertale endings. Even so, it could all just be Toby baiting us, and the actual instance of Ralsei and the flowers is nothing important. Even so, it's fun to speculate about these things. Obviously, I'm not saying for sure that Asgore is aware of resets or the fourth wall. In the words of a very famous guy, that's just a theory. So, to anybody watching this video, what do you think? Is Asgore actually aware of resets going on, and the fourth wall? Will Flowey make an appearance in Deltarune? Or am I just reading into things too much? Let me know, I'd love to see any observations for or against these theories. That's the fun in a theory, isn't it? Seeing how many ways you can either back it up or debunk it. This is my first video I've done like this, where I'm not just voicing a character, and it's not just a shitpost involving me voicing a character. So, I'm not sure how well I did. I'm gonna try my best to make this a visually appealing video, unlike the other ones that I do. So, if you like the video, like it, I guess. I don't want to do the whole like, comment, subscribe shindig, but I don't really know how to conclude this video, so, I guess I'll see you guys next time.